I can tell a story. I can tell a few stories about this that kind of like get people's minds thinking about pattern interrupt and understanding a little bit what we're talking about. Pattern interrupt is a definition for anyone that's listening that doesn't know. It's basically just you get in a routine in what you are viewing and seeing, and something that is different or unique can really stand out and grab your attention. Attention is really what you're trying to accomplish with an ad, because they're viewing their feed at whatever platform that they're on, even if it's just email, even if it's just their email inbox, right? They're viewing that, and it's, you know, your subject line or your ad needs to actually draw that attention away from the other stuff that they were trying to look at or wanting to look at. Few people open up Facebook or open up Instagram or open up their email looking for ads. I wonder what interesting ad is on here today. It has to get their attention away from what they were trying to do or wanting to do. Or it has to look like the content that they went to the platform for, is something to think about as well from the opposite angle of that, to try to blend in. You can try to pattern interrupt, or you can try to blend in, not with ads, but try to blend in with the content that they're searching for, or what they're using that platform for in the first place, right? So I do think both of those angles work really well. But here's the story about one of the biggest pattern interrupt shifts that completely changed the online marketing world significantly that I can think of. And a lot of people listening probably remember this when it happened. I can't remember the year exactly. I think it was around 2016 that it occurred. But there was a guy named Tai Lopez who made a YouTube ad that everyone basically in the world saw, where he's just saying, I'm just here in my garage, and it's the worst quality video ever. He's just like holding a phone up, and there's like Lamborghinis behind him in a garage, here in my garage in my house in Beverly Hills or something like that, or the Hollywood Hills. And he's like, yeah, but you know what's way more valuable to me than these cars? And then he turns, and it's these books, and there's just like a bookshelf that he has in his garage for some reason, but he's just got all these books in his garage, and it's like a 25-minute, or maybe it's longer, I can't remember. It's like a 40-minute ad. It's incredibly long form, and it's just him walking around holding a phone, talking, like unedited, in this very rough, very long form advertisement. So there are two things about it that were completely revolutionary and different than anything that anyone else had ever done or was doing with social media advertising, and significantly influenced advertising, I think, for years and years going forward. It was, one, the first pattern interrupt that he really made was the quality of the video and the style of the video. At that time, everyone was trying to have really like high quality, buttoned up, and in some cases even more like corporate style advertising, I would say. Ads that would pop up in your feed, right? Higher production value, right? So his was literally just the lowest possible, intentionally was the lowest possible production value to make it feel as authentic as possible, okay, and to make it not feel like an ad. Basically, I think what I had identified was people subconsciously are able to identify what it is an advertisement based on the way that it looks when they're scrolling through a feed, so that they can ignore it. What he did was created an ad that looked and felt like, you know, the type of video that your cousin would record and post on Facebook, so that it would be more attention grabbing and interesting, but also feel more authentic, less like this big corporate overly produced advertisement. And so that was one thing. And so everyone started copying that immediately after. Every ad that happened for the next several years was someone holding a shaky phone in their hand recording an ad, okay? So that had a huge influence. And I talked earlier about the cyclical nature of these things. Like, that can now shift. That can oversaturate. Everyone can copy what worked so well for Tai Lopez, because he was able to scale that ad into the tens of millions, like, you know, if not hundreds of millions of views very, very profitably, because it worked so successfully. And then everyone copied him, and then so all ads eventually became low quality, super rough, low production value style ads, and which can create another market shift. And if you can be ahead on those market shifts and just be thinking about them in this kind of way, you can always kind of be a little bit ahead of the curve. There just has to be some research that you do of like seeing what's going on. What does the landscape look like? What does your ad feed look like? Which is great too, because, you know, the algorithms, if you are doing nothing but like engaging with those kinds of ads, that's all you'll get. So you'll get to really, really see tons of them to be able to analyze data and stuff. And another thing that his ad did that was unique at the time is it was long form. It was a really, really long ad, when everyone else at the time was convinced that you had to be your ads had to be the same length as like a commercial on TV. It used to, 28 seconds, or, you had to be something really fast and hard hitting and get to the point. And he made this, 20 something minute ad, and it absolutely crushed. And so I love to think back to that huge moment in online marketing, and how there are so many other moments like that, and what the lessons of that can teach us and show us. And many of those things are happening right now as well.
Oh, I remember that ad. I remember when that came out, like it just was everywhere. I think that there was this subtlety to it it wasn't telling you it was an advertisement, but it was kind of like subtly hinting at, I have all this success, I have all these other things. Like it was never showing you like, check out my Ferrari. It was just like in the background. And so by not pointing at something, he was pointing at something, and it was flipping the whole script on its head, which was interesting. Yeah. Say what you about ads. That one was effective.
Hey, Launch family, wasn't that a great clip? If you want to see more of these clips, or maybe you want to check out some of the full episodes that we have, hit subscribe. And we also have some absolutely free, amazing launch resources over at getyouLaunched.com. So go check that out. I think you'll really dig it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.